All right, welcome back to the shop. So today we're going to put the plane together. It's going to become one piece, or at least mostly one piece. Um, last time we finished up push rod on the back of it, JB welded in, wrapped it with some Kevlar, so it's all set and ready to go. It's all been measured up. We checked it. So now the next steps are going to be to put the fuselage halves on each side, let them sit on the wing, and we're going to start aligning everything. We'll start with check in to make sure that we're in the center of the table like we want to be. We'll make sure that we're parallel to the table, that zero incidents. Set the stab, and then we'll slowly fit on the fuselage sides, the motor mount. We'll do all that on this session. So let me reposition the camera and get us going here. All right, so what we're going to do is release the wing to where it is. Um, okay, let's release the other one, and we'll work on sliding the wing in place. See how good the fit up is. Now the wing, it may be tight in some spots, so you have to slowly slide it on and see where it's touching. See how good my cutouts are here. Pretty close on the cutouts, so we'll see how we turn out here. If you get tight in a spot, don't force it. Because I've done that as well, where I kind of force them on. This one that cut out pretty good. My first one lined up pretty good. All right, so we're going to fit the other side on too, just to make sure everything slides in like it should. I mean, that's pretty good. Better than I would have thought. I already see a spot that's going to be a problem because there's a problem in the other one. See how we fit up? We're going to manipulate the horn so it's at the right height. Slide through. And there you go. It fit on pretty good. There's not a lot of big gaps on it. I'm just looking, that's pretty good. So there we go. All right, now I just got to fit everything up, get it back on the center lines. We'll do that now. Um, all right, now And I got the wood pieces that I put underneath the trailing edge here. But I had a pretty accurate cutout, more accurate than I thought, which was really good. Usually you gotta fit it a little bit. I don't know that I've ever had them fit in so easily. I mean, something's not right, but it's all right. All right, so push it up against the trailing edge. What I'm gonna do is just put one in. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is slide this off. All right, so I'm gonna leave this piece sitting to the side here because I don't want to take it out of jig again. The other thing is I want to slide this over just a little. Now, what I'm gonna do is use my laser here. See how we're lining up. Okay. So now I'm gonna use that little stand over there to kind of guide my laser till I get it perfect. There's a little touch off. Okay, right there is perfect. All right, so now I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so use that as a reference to put the tail. And right now I got to cheat this over a little bit. Should be back in the same speed. We'll check all of that though. Everything looks pretty good. Somewhere I have an incidence meter. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move over the fuselage half. There for now. At 0, perfect, dead on. Very happy with it. Now, what I'm gonna do just to make this easier, start putting the controls together. It's pretty close. Very close. All right. Some lube in here in the bowl link. So I have 2 washer spacers that go in here. Again, I'm just lubing up the balls on the bowl links. And oh, there it is. I make it just. All right. So I put the nut backwards, like I've shown before. One thing I certainly will do is put some JB Weld on the ends of the threads, just to be sure. Okay. All right, next up, we're going to put the ball in here. So I'm doing, I'm putting on the ball link on here. Just move the fuse out of the way. Now, what I'm doing is going to put the ball link on here first. Just because it's so much easier to tighten down. Now, if you don't do it this way, it's almost impossible to tighten up the bolt the way the setup is. So what I do now is just really thread this in. Okay. So now what I do is, let's see, where is it? I'll find the hole. You think I'd mark these things one of these days? When in doubt, measure it. Huh? 2 7/8. Oh, 3 1/16. So there we go. So I lock that down. No way. That's very close to where it should be. All right, moving everything up again. Pretty close. Now for the stab, let's make sure it lines up. We shut the light off to check it. Yep, right down the middle. So that now that's perfectly in alignment. I can see it. And very close. Now, just put a little lube on this. All right, so we're going to tighten this up at 1 inch. All right, so 1 inch there. And just move it. Yeah, 1 inch. Okay. All right, now. All right, so now I got the controls in place. Now we're going to check them, make sure they don't bind or they're locked in the right place. Make sure there's nothing funny with them. It's easy to fix now. It's much harder to fix later. So going to the lead outs. You should have really nice smooth controls here. Okay. I'm very happy with that. We'll just check the neutral here. Okay. Yep. Dead on. Four 9/16. 4 9/16. 4 9/16. 4 9/16. Right. All right, so we get the tools out of it. So now the controls are all set up. And I'm pretty happy with them. They move very nice and freely. You should really feel no binding at this point because there's no control surfaces set up. So it should definitely be free. Now, here we go. All right, so I'm making sure I'm lined up here in the middle. That's lined up. And now we're going to do slide the fuse half on this half first. We're going to get that set. Save my block. I'll use that to lock the controls in later. That's 16. All right, let's just close this side on. I want to see where I am. I'm just gonna look down it, see what does it look like. I gotta go this way a little bit with that juice. All right, pretty close. All right, we have to come down with a stab of hair. I kind of figured I set it a little bit higher than that. About a 16th would be good. All right. So far, so good. All right. So now, things we got to do is we got to set up the motor mount and the motor mount jig. I'll do that in a second. But so far, I'm pretty pleased with the way this is lining up. Just want to dry fit it again. Okay. Pretty good so far. All right, so we just get the motor mount on. I'll get it all set up off camera. I'll show it to you when I get back to it. So I'll be right back. Ah. So what I did was taking my Dremel, I cut little notches in the side here, and that's for the epoxy to go through. So now I'm going to put it on my motor mount gig. So this mount is G10 fiberglass. This is dyed black plate they used, but it's just G10 or G11. Either one will work. A few years ago, I had somebody cut them out for me with a machine shop. Okay. Now we're gonna do is set this up. Now I'm gonna use CA to probably tack it in place. And then I'll use glue. And I'll use epoxy resin or the epoxy that I've been using, the black stuff. Um, all right, now, so I know the wing is 3 1/8 off the ground. I know the thrust line is 3/4 of an inch higher. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna measure up off the sides. Yeah. Yeah. So 3 1/8 plus 3/4 is 3 7/8. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this thing to help me set it. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower this down so I get it exactly at the measurement I want. So I gotta get the 3 7/8. If I have marks on the side of this, that's 3 7/8. Okay, close on both sides. That's interesting. Let's see. So we gotta come down a little bit. Come down a little bit more. What I'm doing is just making sure that we're equally off the table at the same height on my marks on the side. You can see there's a mark here, and that side's a mark there. And they are exactly at the same spots. And I'll leave this thing set because I'll be able to check the other side thrust line. And that's where the thrust line should be. Okay. Ah, pretty close. All right, now what I'm gonna do is line up my center lines here. Now I'm just get a pin, and I'm gonna pin this bulkhead into the wing to get it where it's close. Yeah. On the pins. Hmm. You can't find the pins. I'll have to use something else here. Let's see what do I got. Hmm. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tack glue it, but it's very close to where it needs to be. So I can tack glue it in place and hold it. It's just like this. Okay, so I tack glued it and I just stuck a wedge in there I had, and that's holding it that bulkhead straight up and down. Therefore, when I slide this in the position, it should be very close to where it needs to be. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to mark. I want to put a 5/8 inch mark here. If that's where the ring needs to end up. It's not critical, but that mark should be about the end of the fuselage. 5/8 3/4, but that's 5/8. So I can eyeball that to know that, like right there would be good. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is just mark on the table. This is just for later, so I know where roughly where that end piece ends. That's good. That's good. Now the other thing to do is to set up the offset here. So what I want to do, oh, there is my. All right, now I'm going to clamp it to the table. It's helpful having different kinds of clamps and weights, and so all I want to do is clamp this down so it doesn't move. Oh, I just moved it. But what I'm doing is lining up. I know that my laser line is the center line of the plane. And what I want to do is line up the motor so it's dead center down the center. And I'll build the offset in a minute. I just set it up to be 0 to 0. And now if I were to measure this edge to this edge, for example, I get 11/16, 22 and 11/16, 22 and 11/16. A little more, hold on. 3/4, 3/4, okay. But now this is perfectly parallel here. So I need to have just a slight bit of offset in there, and I'll build that in shortly. All right. It's still in alignment there. Again, these tools are good to use because you can kind of just look at it. Now what I want to do is just take a good look down the outside of it, make sure we're happy with it. The other thing, I'm going to put marks on the stab. And these are just equal marks on both sides. So I went out 3/4 on both sides there. Okay, now pretty happy with everything. So now what I will do is I'm going to dry fit this up again. A pretty good fit up. All right, now we start to adjust the height of the stab. That's high. I'll leave it high for now. It'll come down. Not even a 16th. Damn close. Back a little bit. That's good. Well, pretty good. All right. All right, now we're gonna glue the motor mount up, and then we gotta kind of wait. Well, I can push this side on. That can be done. Am I stuck in here? All right, so it looks pretty good everywhere around. That looks pretty good. All right, so I'm just gonna glue the bulkhead in a little bit. Gonna pack this bulkhead in, so it's kind of fixed because I know that that's perfectly where it needs to be. Now I'm gonna get out the epoxy. I'm gonna a couple things I'm gonna do. One, I'm gonna glue this mount in. I'll use the epoxy as I'm using for that. That's the battery mount, so that'll be glued in place. Actually, I may not want to glue that in just yet. I may. I don't know. Let me try to get it. Hmm. No, I'm not going to glue that in yet. I'm going to glue this in after, so I can cut out the bottom there and slide this in. This is the battery mount with the timer plate on it, but it fits in perfect. Like I see it's in good alignment. All right. So now we got to glue this in. Let me get the glue out. It's like the moment of truth here, or no truth. All right, so I'm using the DP 420. So run a little out of the tip. Stick that over there for now in case I need some more. Now, critical importance here to line this up where you want it. So that's in. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is just mount this here for a second. So now what I'll do is measure out to the outside here. 22 7/8. Thirteen sixteenths. 7/8. All right, so I want a little bit more. I strive for about a good 16th of an inch to an eighth. Right there is definitely 13 sixteenths. And this should be just a little over 7/8. All right, so I got at least a 16th now. Yep, so it's lined up. And again, I like to match mark everything so I can just see if something moves. Um, all right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a dab of this and put it on the bulkhead. Now where I can't get the bottom, Use a Q-tip. So what I'm gonna do is just run a dab on every former here. And now what we're trying to do is get underneath one former that comes there. Pretty good. Now, you don't put a lot of glue on everything. You do want to make sure you get glue on it. I'm gonna guess that that's right about there a little bit. Remember, glue has weight, so strategically, I'm just putting some glue on some spots. All right, now all right, so I'm gonna glue the front, I'm gonna tack glue the front half of the fuse together. But it's in perfect alignment right now. Give it a second to. Give it a second, let this glue harden up. This is where the plane will start to take life. And so I'm just tacking it in a couple spots. I'm just fitting up the fuse halves the way they should be fit. Take your time fitting up the fuse sides there. Okay. So I'm just running a glue seam here. Now, so got a little bit of work to do up here to fit this in. We're using some Scotch tape to kind of hold this together, pull the fuse together like we want it. So just trying to glue where I can glue together here. That's looking pretty good. Now I gotta line up the back of the fuse. So I use tape in a bunch of spots just to kind of squeeze it together. I'll leave that alone for now. We're just gluing the seam together. All right, now we'll work on the back half here. And now, so there's some marks that I put on the fuse just to tack that in place when that's all right at the side. And again, we want to make sure the equal panel plane is that they're equal. 27 and 7/8, almost 15/16. Okay, that's tacked in place. Now, we'll work our way down the back here to get this lined up. And I'm gonna let this all dry, and I'll set the stab after that's all dry. The bottom is pretty tight. Okay. All right, pretty good. And so we'll be able to pull the bottom together with the stab up out of the way. So, I'm taking my time here. All right, so the bottom's pretty good. Eights, 15, 16. All I did was pull that up a little bit so I could see my mark. I got the offset I want. I slid it back a little. And that's the big stuff here, the alignment. Now it's really just waiting for the motor mount to dry in there. So I give that a few hours. I'll leave it until tomorrow. Probably won't touch this. And everything else I'm pretty happy with. I do got to work on stab alignment, which we'll work on once the motor mount is all dry. We'll get the stab back in alignment and get it locked in. But I'm pretty happy with everything here. The fit up is pretty good. A couple spots that I knew where I had a gap because I just didn't have a good fit up. So we know I know we're gonna have to widen the back a little bit to have clearance. Get that through. Actually, what I'm gonna do is just tack the back here. I just tack the back. Most of it gets cut off anyway. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the back here so we have perfect clearance around the horn. So you have any rubbing. Yeah, right there I have a little bit of rubbing. But that has to get opened up just a touch. And we'll have plenty of clearance. Alright, so that's kind of all I have for today. So hopefully this was helpful. But the plane is starting to be in one piece. It starts to come alive here. Shortly. I mean, this is where it becomes a plane. Yeah, once this is dry in the mount, I'll set the stab. Once the stab is glued in place and I'm happy with it, I'll put the back half on. Once that's done, we'll take this out of the mount here and we'll start setting it up. We'll flip it over, glue the bottom up. A bit of the seams to get pulled together a little bit down there. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. So far, so good. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed it and thanks for watching.